Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you see the live right there, the red live, you know you got me live. Otherwise, it's replay. And please put hashtag replay in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. So I thank you for watching because I do appreciate all of you. So grab your coffee, come sit with me, let's chat. We are working on a gourd. We're making it into a scarecrow. I've had like 100 different things I wanted to do with this one gourd. This is the last one I have left. So if you could also help my algorithm, like, share, comment, I would appreciate that. Also, because for some reason today, it's messed up. I don't know. Today's just been, I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning. Hi, Carla. Hi, Carolyn. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and had to block 6 people on here. So I hope none of you have gotten comments about how beautiful and lovely you are and want to be your friend kind of comments, because I had a whole bunch of them. Doing good. So we're working on a gourd, and this is last year on eBay. I got all kinds of gourds. Now I bought them uncleaned. This is my last real big one. You see, I partially got it painted. And what I mean by unclean is when they dry the gourds, they get a mold on the outside. Hi, Connie, welcome. They get moldy on the outside, and you have to scrub that off with bleach water and a brush. Well, I bought them unclean because this lady on eBay didn't want to clean them anymore. So I bought them, and I got a whole bunch of, this huge box of gourds, and I've been scrubbing them. I still have a bunch of little ones I need to clean, but I got like 6 of these, and this is my last one left. So you see all of these, and these were called seconds because they are flawed. And I don't care about flawed. I'm flawed, so I didn't care if they were flawed. But this one had little tiny holes in it. So I use regular spackling, just an all-purpose spackling, and put over the holes. So we're going to sand this off and fix this. Oh, here it is. And I'm just using a gator tool. Now you can do exactly what you do to wood to a gourd, because it is a woody surface. And you can clear coat these. Now you can use any kind of a sealer that you want, or you can also use a floor wax. Put a couple coats on it, that will also seal it. Now floor wax will give you a very glossy look, so it depends on the look you want to go for. But I'm just going to sand this spackling off, and you see my spackling, I don't know what I did with that spackling, because it has white paint in it, and it also has glitter, so it's okay. We're just going to sand it off. So just going to sand it smooth. And this is going to be our face. And we just want it smooth. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a scarecrow. See? Do it exactly the way anything you do with wood, you can do this. You can use a Dremel tool and cut it out like we did. I think it was on my other page. We put a light on the inside. There was like 6 different things I wanted to do with this gourd. And I decided this morning that we're going to do a scarecrow, because yesterday I was doing a pumpkin. So I'm just going to wipe this off with a baby wipe just to get all the dust. It's all over my lap. So thank you for joining me. So on here we can talk about anything we want to talk about. So what are we talking about while y'all are sitting there watching me do this? Now I'm using Waverly Cashew chalk paint, and I've got 2 coats on the back and the bottom of this. Now, this gourd sits pretty flat. It has a curved side and then more of a flat side. The more of a flat side is what I'm using for his face. Oh, thank you, Connie. I appreciate it. But one gourd I did was it would not sit. The bottom was like wonky. So I put it on a piece of wood. So you can do that also. You could also get like the larger food cans, take that lid or that you cut off and cover that with a burlap or something and glue that to the bottom. And that will also help your gourd sit. But this one sits pretty good. So I think the other one, we put a light in and a mouse on the side, I think. But this one is going in my show I have coming up in a couple weeks if I don't sell it beforehand. So we're going to make a hat for this scarecrow. We're going to make a sunflower because for the life of me I bought a bunch of sunflowers and I don't know where they are. So this is almost dry. So we're going to turn it back upside. That's how I dried it on a can. We're going to make a sunflower. So I'm just using a heavy duty jute. And we're just going to coil this with some glue. And we're going to make the center for our sunflower. So this is better to do when your glue tool is just starting to heat up because your fingers really get involved. Hi Deborah, welcome. So it just depends on how big you want your sunflower to be. I already have one of these centers done. And you just keep coiling this. And my tool's been on for a while. And as usual, I don't have my finger protectors right here. So, you know, it's like you think of everything you think you're going to need and you put it here in front of you and there's always that one thing that you forget. So you just keep coiling this and gluing it until you get it the diameter you want. Like I said, I already have one done. So we're going to take some burlap ribbon. This is 4 inches wide. And I just have a long strip of it. And this is going to be our petals. Now we're going to do like a dry wash paint over this. So I'm just going to decide how big my petals need to be. And we're going to cut them into a petal shape. So let's do 6 petals and see if that's enough. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could be all different sizes. You know, nothing in Mother Nature is perfect. And if you followed me for a while, you know I'm not either. I always forget to do something to every single project. And then I got to post a picture and say, and this is what I did after I turned the camera off. Do y'all do that? So this is a very, very heavy jute ribbon. I have 2 huge spools of it. If anybody is interested, send me a message. I have it really cheap by the yard. Hi, Kim. My daughter-in-law just walked in. So we just did, you know, that kind of a shape. So we're going to lay these out. And I'm going to take a mixture of yellow paint and brown paint. And we're just going to do like a little wash over these. The brown I'm using is the nutmeg brown. This is my favorite color brown. It's a really good gingerbread color. Hi, Julie. We're making a scarecrow out of a gourd. So we're going to take a little bit of this. And I just had this open that had already started to dry. So I'm going to put just a little tiny bit of this in a cup. And then I have, this is from Dollar General. It's bright yellow. It's just called yellow, but it's a really bright yellow. So I don't want my sunflower to be that bright. So we're toning it down. And I'm dipping my brush a little bit in the yellow and a little bit in the brown. So I got both colors on here and just a tiny little bit. And I'm just going to go make swirls on both sides of each one of these petals. We're making a sunflower, Julie. Just to give this a little bit of a highlight. Just a little bit. Thank you. Happy Labor Day to you too. I actually forgot. It was Labor Day. So we're going to do that to each one of these petals. So some of them are going to have more yellow. Some's going to have more brown. So this won't take any time at all for these to dry. Because if you ever look at a sunflower, the petals are all different. I grow sunflowers every single year. This year they got really big and died. I don't know why. They must have, something happened to them. And see, this one has more yellow than this one does. But that's just going to give our sunflower a lot of dimension. So I'm doing that to all 6 petals. I think 6 is going to be plenty. If not, we'll do some more when we get to that point. So those are done, and I just put a little bit of paint in there and we hardly used any of it. So before I tip this, I'm putting the lids on these because some of you did watch that one day I dumped a bottle. Hi Brooke. I dumped a bottle of black paint on my carpet in here. My husband is, he's something else. He came in and he started cleaning it up while I was doing the video. So the bottom of these I'm going to pinch, and it will give your flower, your petals, all that little bit of a dimension. So I'm just putting a tiny bit of glue and pinching it. And see how it cups it? And yes, burlap is very porous, so you definitely need your finger protectors, which mine aren't over here. So I'm cupping each one. So these will go on the hat. And the reason we're doing this first, I want it to dry, but I have 1 coat or 2 coats of paint on the back and the bottom of the gourd. Hi Debbie, welcome. So if you're new to my page, I want to welcome you. I am Jenna and I live in Georgia. And I have been crafting and sewing, I say over 100 years because that's what it seems like. Oh, Julie. Okay, it was at an outlet, one of the big outlets here. And the day before the show, I get a text message saying that I originally wanted a 10 by 10 spot because that's the size of my tent. And so I got a text message saying that when I applied, they didn't have any more 10 by 10s. They only had 10 by 15s. I said, okay, I'll do a 10 by 15. Because I have been trying for months to get in this show. It's a juried show. And I'm just gluing all these petals on the back. It's a juried show. So those are the ones that I did in Pennsylvania, only the juried shows. So I finally was accepted, only to find out that the company that was putting on this show was hacked. And I'm one of the ones that got scammed. So far, I haven't gotten my money back. But the day before the show, I got a text message saying that they no longer had 10 by 15s, that I needed to pay $50 more for a 10 by 20. And I'm like, I don't have another tent. A 10 by 15, I could have fudged that. But a 10 by 20, you can't fudge that. So I'm like, something ain't right, because this is the day before the show. And this stuff should have already been settled. So I'm like, something's not right. So I call the outlet's business office, and I'm asking them about this company. Well, you know, the lady that answered the phone says, honey, I'm going to have to put you on hold. I'm going to give you the business manager. We need one more petal. So he gets on the phone, and he's telling me that this is a legitimate company, that they have shows all over the United States in all of their outlets. And that the show's been sold out for months. And I'm like, oh no. Because so he gives me a phone number for the company. I call the company. They're out of Ohio. And I was scammed. So I did not have a show. So this is like the third show. The second one, I was sick. I had COVID, so I couldn't go to it. The first one, I lost, it was only $50, but it was still $50. So this next show, I called the pastor of the church. It's a large church. They have a school that they have a show, 4 shows a year, to make sure it was legit. Because I'm like, I'm not being scammed no more. I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated, because I was so looking forward to getting into the outlet. So there. We're going to set this aside and let this glue all harden. So far, I have not gotten my money back. I did appeal it with PayPal. So, but I was devastated. So I did double check to make sure this was a legitimate show. They probably thought, what is this girl doing? Is she crazy? Why is she calling us to make sure that we actually are having a show? No, I'm not. The very first show I did, it was just to get my feet wet here in Georgia. And the place had a fire. The guy sent out a mass text message saying the building had a fire, which I did double check. They did have a fire. And everyone was supposed to have been set up by 1 that Saturday. It's an hour drive from here. 1 or noon, he sends out a text message saying everyone has to be set up if you still want to do the show by 1 o'clock. They're an hour. I'm not prepared. Truck's not loaded. So I lost that money, but that was $50. That was just to give me a dry run here in Georgia. But yeah, then the second show, I had COVID. We all had COVID here, so couldn't do that one. So this is my third take on a show. Hi, Brooke. Welcome to my page. So this is the sunflower, and yes, I wanted it to be big. The gourd is big, but I just think sunflowers on scarecrow hats should be big. So this is the gourd, And as you see, this is spackling. It had little holes in it, and I covered it, let it dry, and we sanded it off at the beginning of the video. But I have the bottom and everything already painted, and I'm using Cashew chalk paint by Waverly, and we're going to paint the rest of this. So the very top of this is going to be covered, so we're not worrying about that, because we're going to make him a burlap hat. So I'm just going right up to the bottom of the neck of this, and I've got 2 coats on what you see already. So we're probably going to have to dry this and put a second coat on the front of this. I didn't do the face of this first because I wanted you to see. Those of you maybe have never worked with gourds before, treat them just like wood. You can spackle them, you can sand them, you can cut them. I have done, now see, this is going to cover 1 coat. I have done this size of a gourd in several different ways. And I got these off of eBay. I went to look up that lady's page so I could link her to this, and I couldn't find her because I bought these a year ago. And I don't know why it's taken me a year to use any of them. I think when I first got them on my other page, we made a light out of one of them. So yeah, 1 coat's going to do this one for some reason. The back took 2. I live like 40 minutes from the Atlanta airport in a town called Hampton. Well, that's my mailing address. That's not the actual town I live in. That's my mailing address, Hampton. Okay. So this is going to take 1 coat. That's odd. Okay, Julie, have a great day. Yeah, I have to go grocery shopping sometime today. Okay, so that's only going to take 1 coat. Hi, Nina. Welcome. So we're taking this gourd and we are making a scarecrow. So I'm just going to, I'm going to dry this. Thank you, Julie. I'm glad you stopped by. I did not. I will have to look that one up. I'm not sure where Temple is from me, but I'll have to look that up. Are you in Georgia? So this is going to need a second coat. Oh, wow. I will look that up. Okay, Julie. Well, thank you for inviting her. Thank you for inviting her. I appreciate that. There was like 6 different things I wanted to do with this gourd, but you know, I only have one, so we can only do one thing with it. But I am going to find another supply for these kind of gourds. But I got a whole box of little tiny ones. And I have a patty pan squash that's been dried. And I've got a bunch of ideas for that one too. But I couldn't find this lady on eBay. But there's all kind of gourd suppliers, so we will find another one. Now, the little gourds, I didn't keep that contact information, but this one I did, and now I can't find her anymore. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate that. So it didn't look like we needed a second coat until I got it dried. So yesterday, I normally don't go live on Saturdays. I go Monday and Friday at 7 p.m. and Wednesdays at 4:45 because of church. But one of our kids needed us yesterday, so we went to help them, and that's why I'm live today. And what I like about chalk paint is that it dries very fast with a dryer. Just get the front of this dried so we can do its face. Hi, Pam. Welcome. We got a gourd, and we're making a scarecrow. Okay, well, that finished drying. Let's set it on that can. Let's make its hat. So I just have, this is called burlap fabric. It feels, no, you're fine, Pam. You can always go back and watch the beginning. I bought this from Joann's. They called it burlap fabric. It feels like regular burlap. It reacts just like burlap, so we're going to make its hat. So I'm just holding this up to see how big of a hat we want. So I bought 10 yards of this because they had it on clearance, and I need to order some more of it because I really liked it. It was 45 wide, just like fabric. So we don't need that tall. Whoops, I just knocked it over. So I want him to have a big slouchy hat, but I don't want it to overpower him. So I'm just holding it up. That looks good. That's how I craft. That looks good. Oh, yeah? So we're going to glue 3 sides of this. And I'm just rounding off the top corner because we're going to trim this down, turn it inside out. do have this, so I can press this together. Since I don't have my finger protectors, I don't know why I have them, because I always forget to get them. So we're just going to cut these corners, just round them off, because you can see the glue line if you really look. So I'm just going to cut those off, and then we're going to turn this, and we're going to stuff it. Now you can stuff it with grocery bags, you know, anything. I'm using fiberfill today. Those of you that follow me, you can even use the paper shred on this. So I don't care if it's not totally perfect. You could even leave the inside of it a little indented, and then you could put flowers, you could put a mouse, a crow, all kinds of stuff inside. I'm not doing that today because we have done tons of mice. Hi, Lori. And crows. But you definitely can do your mice and your crows on this also, because he's a scarecrow. But I'm just rounding it out. And I'm just gently pushing this because my glue isn't totally set up yet, because this corner has come loose. But we're just going to make him a slouchy hat. And we're going to slouch this even more once we get it on his head. Let's let that set up, and we're going to take another piece of this and make his brim. So there's different ways you can do the brim. You can do a circle and cut the circle out. You can take a long strip and like pleat it around his head. I just think I'm doing a circle. So it's not going to be a perfect circle, because scarecrows are not perfect. But he definitely would look really nice with a crow, because that's what they're for, right? Scare crows away. And I do have some made up, so we might add it. I don't know. But we've done so many crows and mice lately. So I'm just gonna, I folded it in half and half again, and I'm just gonna take this very corner, this inside corner out. Now we're gonna have to make that bigger to go over the hat, but I don't want it so big that you see it. So he is dry enough. So we're gonna do his face, and I'm gonna sketch it on with a pencil first. Set his hat aside. So I drew out this face several different ways, so let's see. I always like to lightly draw my faces on, even when I'm doing my dolls, and I just use a regular pencil. Hi, Diane. So let's do a triangle for the nose, and I'm doing an oblong or a elongated nose. And then we'll do the face. So the first, I'm doing the eyes in black. And I don't know that you can see my little bit. They're ovals and a long triangle for the nose. So we're going to do the eyes first in black. And we don't need much. So I am not one that does really good faces. I practice all the time doing faces because I do dolls. So mostly you just need a steady hand, which sometimes I don't have that either. And those of you that have followed me for a while, you know, when I have fibromyalgia, for those of you who don't know, that I have problems with my hands. So a steady hand is not something that I really have. So we just did 2 big ovals. And I'm just filling them in a little bit. And that one is wider than this one. I keep saying I'm going to make a stencil. So that way I just use stencils, which would be so easy. But I can't do things easy. Oh yeah, a big crow head. That would be really nice. Yeah. Yep. Now I have done a pumpkin, and then it had a bigger top on it. I did that, a ghost. I've done that one before. I've done these, I've even done these in, made them in dolls with hair. But I owned a craft store, so I have done just about everything every different way. So I am just putting some paint on my brush, and I'm dabbing it back off just so I have a little bit. I'm going to freehand a squiggly mouth. And then I'm going to do, I think I'm going to use a finer brush, 2 like half C's for the cheeks. And I'm barely getting any paint on my brush. Of course, I do need some. And I'm just going to do a half C. So there's the, so far, the face. So I need to clean, I'm done with that one. I need to clean this one off because I need this paintbrush again. I don't care how many of the same size brush you need, you always need one more. Yeah, a big crow head would be really nice. Okay, let's get rid of this black paint bottle because this is the one that dumped on my carpet. Okay. So let's dry this. I guess I should have done the nose in black too. Maybe we'll do it in brown. So I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I'm going to do the nose in this dark brown instead of more black. And this is just the nutmeg from Apple Barrel. And we're going to do some highlights for those eyes. And I'm just doing an elongated triangle. go. Trying to get it the same on both sides. Of course, it would also help if I had my glasses on. So this nose is going to need a couple of coats. We need to give him some cheeks. So I'm going to let that dry for a second. So in this jar, and we have used this little tiny bit of paint, thank you, little tiny bit of paint, hardly any in there, for I don't know how long now. It's just white that I added some red to make a pink, because I didn't have any pink. So I have a tiny little stencil brush. We're going to give him cheeks. You know what? I need a bigger one. Let's use a dauber. Eventually this jar will get empty, but I keep using it, and I'm dabbing some of it back off. Give her bright cheeks. And I'm going to rub it, put it on, and then rub it with the side of my dauber so it's not real solid. Okay. 2 big cheeks. And I think we're just about out of this color that we mixed up. Okay, I'm taking another real fine brush and some white. And this is Dollar General too. They had, they're $1 a bottle, but I walked in one day and they had 50% off. So I stocked up on all different colors. These are 2-ounce bottles. So getting that, they really have those glued on. Okay, I'm just going to take a tiny bit on my brush. And we're going to do a line down the side of each eye. And I don't see any difference in this acrylic paint from Dollar General than I do the name brand stuff that I've been using. But I figured for 50 cents I would give it a try, you know? I'm just giving a little highlight on both sides, on both eyes. I guess I'm not sticking my brush down in that paint enough. So just a little highlight there along both sides of the eye. I think this one needs a little bit more. So my black isn't totally dry yet. That's why I'm having an issue right now. So I'm just going to dab it on. There we go. On both sides. Just gives a highlight. I'm going to dry these eyes a little more before I color in the pupil. Okay, thanks Carla. I will check into that. So let's give the nose one more coat. And then we're going to do a highlight on the nose too. Yeah, I got hooked when before I opened my store doing craft shows, and I really enjoy it. Okay, so we got the nose. Oh, we're going to put a highlight on that too. We're going to let it dry. So we're going back to the eyes. And on the inside corner, I'm just going to paint a little, almost like a half circle. So I have a stylus that I'm also going to dip in my white paint and just do a couple little dots on the cheeks. And I'm going to do a little tiny dot on the top of the eye. See the cheeks? And just a tiny dot on the top of the eye. And I'm just going to do a tiny line on the side of the nose. Those are just highlights. So we're done with all of that. The eyes, the inside eyes might need a little bit more paint, but for the moment they're done. So after it totally sets up, I might go back and do that again. I will Google it. Thank you. Thank you, Carla. I will. So we're going to do this hat. So we're going to take the top of the hat and put fiber fill in it. Just enough to give the hat a little bit of a puff to hold it out. And we're going to slide it down over, maybe at an angle. Yeah, at an angle, and we're going to glue it. So So I'm putting the glue on the burlap and not the gourd. That way I have control over where the glue goes, and I'm just gluing all the way around it. So I'm going to push it down on and just hold it where the glue is so that it will catch. Yeah, I like it at an angle better. We're going to take this circle and we need to open it up some more. Now this is not a perfect circle. I didn't want it to be perfect. See, it's all wonky. So we're going to squeeze this down over top. And I want to make sure that it covers the bottom of the hat. And I'm just going to glue it here and there until I get this on here the way I want it. And then we'll go back and put more glue. So I'm going to add some eyelashes. These eyes need some more highlight. So I'm just pushing up the bottom of the hat before I glue this brim down. And I'm going to fold up just the very front of the hat a little bit. So I'm going to go around and glue the rest of this down because we don't want it to move. Okay. So to me, these eyes need something else. So I think I'm going to take a Sharpie marker. I got glue on my fingers, they're sticking. A real fine one. Right at the bottom of the eyes. Is that dry? Yeah. I'm just going to do some lines. And I'm going to do just a straight line for it. Even though the eyebrow really won't be seen because of the hat, that looks better. See, I did little lines underneath, and then above the eye, I just put a line. And I'm going to take some just X's and put them down here and there over the mouth. And I'm going to draw lines, like stitching lines, on the inside of the nose. I need another Sharpie. Just real faint X's on the mouth and just real tiny little stitch lines on the inside of the nose. Okay, so I'm going to bring the brim of the hat down on the side a little bit. So it sort of frames the face. Now the sunflower we made, I'm going to put right on the top. So I'm just looking to see. And he does need a crow. And I have crows already made up. So let's tuck him in the sunflower. Yep, that's what it needed. So I have to cut a wing for this crow yet. He doesn't have a wing. Thank you. He needed a crow. All scarecrows need a crow, right? So we need to put some kind of a fabric or something on his hat. So let's tuck this around. So if you follow me, I am never done with a project. Even when I go off air, I'm constantly adding to my projects. I'm never done. So let's add some more strips of this. Let's just fold this whole strip until we get to the end. So I just cut this strip into strips. And I'm going to tie it onto that one we just put around the hat. So someone asked me if I keep a bunch of stuff that I make. I have a few things that I've made, but those are from when I had the store. Buttons? Yes. So he needs an eye to the crow. So I have a tiny little black bead. So I'm going to put just the tiniest dot of glue for this bead for the crow's eye. Yes, a straw hat would be cute. Well, this gourd was going to be a pumpkin yesterday. And I was going to use clay for his facial features. And then today he looked like a scarecrow to me. So I'm going to take just some thin jute and tie it around the crow's neck. I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. I know y'all are saying, what is she doing over there? So I'm going to untwist each of these strands and pull the fibers of the jute apart. I'm going to put a rusty star on the crow's jute. So what do you think? Even though this isn't going to be really seen because the crow covers it up, we can always, it's not glued on, switch it to the other side of the hat. But there he is. Thanks, Pam. Thank you for the hearts. So this one I'm not going to mount on anything because he sits by himself pretty good. Thank you, Connie. I appreciate it. So had I had a mouse made up, we could have put the mouse on this side. But I've used all the mice that I've had made. Or I had some Christmas ornaments that were mice that we used too. Those are gone. We've used all of those too. So, hi Debbie, you caught us right at the end. This is a gourd that we painted. Thank you. And we made into a scarecrow. So God bless you. All of you have a great holiday weekend. Have a great weekend. Go to church tomorrow because we're all here by the grace of God. We woke up this morning because of the grace of God. And God bless you. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. Thank you, Connie. I'm glad y'all like him. So there he is. So I just pulled this out of my head. Sometimes when I get an idea and I try to pull it out of my head, it doesn't work. But this one worked. Have a great weekend, everybody.